101 Part-Time Jobs is the name of the game. If you're listening to this, you probably know how difficult it is to get a job to cover the bills. Indeed Flex is a simple app that covers that with temporary and flexible work available when you need it. I spent my whole 20s going job to job, feeling guilty when I left a role to go traveling or playing music. I did retail, delivery driving, bar work. It took me years to realize that feeling of guilt wasn't necessary. Looking back, it was because my only options were working at places that made you feel like you should work there forever. Indeed Flex is designed for people looking for temporary and flexible work that fits around their schedule. You just download the app, have a quick interview, and you're ready to go. There are thousands of shifts on the app, so you can pick and choose the ones you want. No messing around, no lengthy CVs and cover letters. Just start earning. With the holidays fast approaching, if you're looking for more funds, head to Indeed Flex to find your next temporary role.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses come with open-ear audio, so you can listen to your favorite music without blocking out the world around you.
Hey Meta, play Gorgeous.
Here's Gorgeous by Doja Cat.
You can also ask Meta AI questions.
Hey Meta, when's Doja Cat's next concert?
Doja Cat is playing at the Los Angeles Theater next Tuesday.
Sweet.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, available at Ray-Ban stores and other authorized retailers.
I'm in my mid-30s now, so I've been thinking about this.
Lucky.
For like
Lucky. I mean, if you're going to brag.
Let's just start with a big brag.
I mean, it's a hard way to start the show, but, you know, you do you.
Don't look it. You don't look it.
You do you. That's all.
You have the
you
energy.
Do you is what I'm saying.
You have the energy of a 20-year-old on a Friday night on the high street. Yeah.
That's your recovery plan.
It's not a plan. It's the truth. It's just telling the truth. I first saw you at Glastonbury on one. Not that it wasn't the Greenpeace stage, but it was on the Thursday nights in like the naughty area. I forgot what tent it was.
Was it the Rum Shack?
Yeah, Rum Shack.
The Rum Shack. Yeah, that was. I think that was that show in particular was quite an eye opener for us because basically went into Greenpeace thinking. It's been about 7 months since Mom Does the Washing came out. And by this point, the hype should have probably subsided. We've had our moment, clap. This is a good chance to kind of see how we look like outside London, Yeah. And so we saw Greenpeace and we thought, all right, maybe a good 500 to 1,000. We knew we'd get a big crowd, but we were thinking 500 to 1,000. It'll be a nice little, tidy little thing.
Be a great show.
It'll be a great show. Turn up 5,000 people. Like, what the? So then obviously we won't walk off for crying, and then we have to do another show that same day, which is Rum Shack. And we go to Rum Shack, and the Rum Shack is empty. When we got there, it was empty. So we're like, okay, everyone who has come to see us has already seen us at Greenpeace. So now, we've had our moment in the sun, right?
We enjoyed it.
We've enjoyed it.
You remember
It's been great. Now it's time to pay our dues. And it's all right. It's cool. I am mad. Turn up, tent packed, right? Awesome. And that one was the one we were like, okay, something's changed here. Some light bulb was switched. Yeah. And either the 5,000 people decide to follow us, or it's a lot more than 5,000.
I got to shout out my friend Meg because she was like, "We're getting in. Let's meet here. Let's meet at Joshua Idehen. That's the first person we see this weekend."
Oh, nice.
And so I got to shout out my friend Meg. And that's such a nice way that music works, isn't it? For festivals, it's like, come. Your friend says, "Come see this person."
Come see this guy. Yeah. That is. It's how I used to do it back in the day. When I was young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you still are. You don't want to be. Don't stay.
In spirit.
You are in spirit. You've got it, but you do. Like, I think that's the thing. Like keeping up energy and keeping up appearances. I mean, you were like you've got a good energy.
Yeah, it's lots of sugar. It's
pastries.
It is pastries. Just to show everyone on the camera. I ain't even joking. This is my breakfast, right? Yeah, like I have a weird metabolism, which means I don't consume. My body doesn't store fat.
Really?
No, that's why I'm skinny.
Well, that's a brag.
I'm not.
If we're talking about bragging, you've just come in with the ultimate.
I'm not a Maxi Jazz cosplay fan, right? That's not the look, right? No, my body does. It just expends everything, which means that like I am way more hyperactive than people my age would be. Okay. Right? Yeah.
When did you find that out?
When did I find that out? when I decided to put on weight to gain muscles, and my body was like, no.
Okay.
No, this is a curse. Yeah, you've enjoyed the blessings. Welcome to the curse.
Well, between age and metabolism, I think we're meeting in the middle there.
Yeah. I can never shape up. I'm looking at Dwayne Johnson being like, lucky for some.
The grass is always greener, isn't it? Obviously, it's such a cliche, but it's, they're looking at other people and think, I could probably, wouldn't it be nice to be like
I could
them?
do with some hair. Yeah. I could do with a beard, a real beard, a real beard. Not the struggle. I don't want to struggle anymore. I've been a struggle rapper all my life. I'd like a real beard.
But your DJ, your collaborator, he's got enough hair. Ludwig,
he is the eternal, and he's better than me, America. Do you understand? do you understand what it's like to go on tour with someone who's better you? And the worst part, like, he don't want to play anything else. Like, I've tried to introduce Smash Brothers, which I am better at. I've tried to introduce like Streets of Rage, which is not even competitive, but he just wants to play Marca because he's good at it.
Some people are really good at Marca, and it's almost you can't really argue with someone who's good at Marca because everyone wants to play Marca.
Yeah.
So everyone wants to be good at Marca.
Yeah, and it's like.
But if you're not,
if you're not, you just it's kind of annoying. And then he's the person I've hitched my wagon to for the rest of my creative life, and I just, it feels very monkey paw, very, very monkey paw. It's like, I'd like to be successful.
My partner's really good at Marca, and I just have to kind of sit there and sort of just pretend like I wanted to play.
Oh, that's the worst one. You're the worst one. Because it's worse when you're playing with someone who wants to play with you, but they're shit.
Yes.
Right? I think for him, I'm like the perfect person because I'm not as good as him. But I want to play.
You want to play.
I want to play.
You want to get better.
So yeah. Every 10 times, once I will win, and then I'll celebrate, and I'll be like, yeah. And then I'll tell him to his face, this is the last time we're playing Mario Kart. I want to preserve this win. And then the next time he's like, Mario Kart? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you're sucker for it.
Because I've turned the tables.
It's nice that you celebrate him at your shows.
Yeah.
You put the spotlight on him, which is really nice.
Yeah, because we're a band. I don't think we're a band. Yeah. We're a band. It's called Joshua Idehen, but it's a band. It's kind of like, how Sade is a band. Yeah. It's a band, right? That's it. Yeah. So because we decided to call it Joshua Idehen because we wanted the band to have that personal feel, like it's one person, but we are actually functioning as Joshua Idehen is my name. And that's my name for poetry.
There's something inclusive about it.
Yeah, it's a band. So we're 50-50. He does kind of like Bobby Villain,
Yeah.
It's two people,
for sure,
right? He does the music. And I do the words, and that's essentially kind of like the relationship. He sends me beats, and then I write poems, and then once we've done that initial bit of like solitary artistry, once we bring it together, that's where the band magic comes in. That's where we start giving each other feedback, and
you have that magic. It's you like when you're with a friend and you just get each other.
Yeah.
Is it like that where you see what you feel what's each other's thinking, feeling?
Yeah, I think we kind of let each other do their own thing because I've always wanted to work with someone who was very, very comfortable in his space, and his space is just kind of like, let me do the music. So like when he wants to talk about like the sound or where the mixes are meant to go, what dBs the bass is, I'm like, you do your thing. And at the same time, when I'm kind of like cartwheeling around the stage, he's just there like, yep, Josh,
It's trust, it's mutual trust.
It's mutual.
Co-pilots.
Yeah, exactly. And we were both of us were both very good at holding the other person up in that space. And I think also because we're doing this in our later years, we're both parents. He has 2 kids, shout out Abel and Erin. Lovely kids. And he's been around the block like I have several times. He's been in several more opportunities than I have where it looked like this was going to be the one, right? And so we both came into this project going, this is obviously the weirdest thing we are possibly going to do. Let's just have fun and let's just be cool about it. You understand? It's like, where no one is being precious. No one is sitting here going like, oh my God, I have to, I've got one bit of success with this, so therefore I must protect it with my dying breath. It's kind of like,
yeah. And the first time we played Glastonbury in 2007,
everyone is reminding me about this because I said it.
Because you mentioned it.
I mentioned it.
And obviously that's a great story.
It's
a great story that 20 years later.
It's a good story for me to tell, not for people to tell to me. No, I'm joking. It's fine.
But that place, you've done it. Like you say, you've been around the block. You've been doing this. You've been playing music, writing poetry, performing, doing the thing for probably 20 plus years, and then to be able to kind of, you're gonna yeah, but look, some of my favorite bands like Guided by Voices, I mean, they released 10 albums.
Shut up, man. Just stop. Look,
it's
stop.
about this.
Leave now and never come back.
You learn more.
I didn't want to learn. I didn't want anyone to learn how long I've been doing this. I just started. It's only been 2.
It's like the metabolism.
Yeah, no, it has been kind of more or less. I would say, if you had to count from the moment I decided to start writing, it's been over 20 years. But yeah, that was, I think, the first time I did Glastonbury. I'd been working in a burlesque bar. And we had a semi-successful night. We had like a decent audience at every night. And the owner of the bar, she was going as part of the burlesque troupe to perform in Glastonbury. And she asked if I would like to come down. And I was like, yeah. And bear in mind, performing in London and always performing in places where you have an audience that is at the very least polite, you get an inflated view of yourself. So I'm there thinking like, bad can it be? Oh, how bad can it be? Like, came off that show, that particular gig, and I remember having a big argument with my friends. My brother was there; he was a DJ. I had 2 friends who were doing poetry together, and we came off that show really at a crossroads. Like, why are we doing this? Like, if people would rather go out into the rain than stay here and listen to me, what the fuck am I doing? Yeah. Right? And I think what I don't mention is that we had a gig before and we had a gig after. The gig before we had on a Wednesday, and that was fine. That was great. People stayed and they laughed, and it wasn't at that place. It was like a smaller place somewhere elsewhere. So that was like, if it was good here, this smaller place, imagine how it's going to be for our gig. And then we did that gig and it was crap. And then we had another gig the next day, right? It was on the Saturday. We had another gig on the Saturday where it also rained. But thankfully, there was no one there. It was like about 3 people there. The power went out. So I had to stand amongst people. And we did poetry. And I did poetry to them. And that was actually quite good. It was very intimate. Obviously, that's what you call gigs where only 5 people turned up. Intimate. It was an intimate show. And they had lovely stuff to say. And it was great. And but yeah,
and in that moment, sorry to interrupt, but like that's like a disappointment, right? So I'm like zooming through the years. I mean, how, like, when you have a disappointment like that, you hope there might be 500, but there's 3. Like, obviously that makes you feel disappointment in that moment, but in the bigger picture, how does that affect what you do and how you think about it?
The problem, I think, with me, my problem is that I'm fucking stubborn, right? Like, I'm once I've decided to do something, then I will constantly swap out the reasons why I do it. Sometimes it's enthusiasm, sometimes it's because I really like something, sometimes it's spite. It's just pure, like, you think I'm shit. Well, I'm going to be shit tomorrow. I'm going to be shit the next day.
Well, it's kind of the best reason to get good at something, isn't it? To be bad at it.
Yeah, it was like, way. I think I've been privileged to have a lot of people who supported me and kind of gave me the push. And also, like, for me, there's a desire to kind of prove people wrong. I remember I had a friend who had a girlfriend. Her name is Charlotte. I remember her name. And I used to be a band called Benicity. And at the beginning, we used to be a comedy rap band. We had a saxophone and a cello and a drums. And it was very ramshackle. And I remember at one point, because me and her, we didn't have a rapport, right? I thought she was really pretty, so I couldn't even look her in the face. So I'd just be like, hi, look away. And I remember at one point she came down to the night and she came into one of our gigs. And we were chatting and I was like, yeah, the gig was quite good. And then she looks at me and she goes, I don't see the point in your band. She's the reason that band went for 10 years. She's the reason.
Because of that comment.
Because I was, every time I talk about quitting, my brain went and prove her right. Nah, right? Like, she's part, I mean, obviously there were other reasons, but she was like, every time I was in my darkest place, I would remember that face. Yeah. And there was a desire, like I felt I was good at it. I felt there was potential, and there was a desire to kind of like prove it to myself, and also like I enjoyed it way too much.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoyed. I still remember
performing aspect of
the
it,
performing
like-
aspect of it. I enjoyed. And the writing aspect. Like, you know, when I come up with a good line, a good code line, and you think, oh shit, right, that's a sick line, and you're like, well, wait till I write a poem around here. You write a poem, you're like, the poem is good. And you're like, oh, when I perform it, this is gonna be hot. It's gonna be fire.
Yeah.
And then people hate it, and you're like, well, we did the wrong people.
Wrong demographic.
Did the wrong demographic.
I mean, it's a good question. Where do you think it comes from? That the need to, you talk about doing the thing, right? And I like that because everyone has a thing.
Yeah.
It might be kite flying, it might be surfing. For a lot of people, it's playing music or writing poetry. Where does it come from? The need for you to do the thing.
Do the thing. Well, I think when I hear someone do a line that I love, it sends like every bone in my spine just gets a little shake, gets a little Jenga, right? It's ooh, oh my God, you know, when you hear a good line like Bjork, I thought I could organize freedom. How Scandinavian of me. It's like, take it to the back, right? Or Rufus Wainwright.
It's kind of like life defining in a way, those lines.
Yeah, like Rufus Wainwright, life is a game and true love is his trophy. I know what that does for me. And then when I write a good line that I think is good, that's a feeling I want to share.
Yeah.
You know, it's not so much kind of like, look how good this line is. Am I not great? It's more like, I've had this great feeling. Let's share that feeling. You know, let's have, and if that line has made me feel good, or that sentiment has made me feel good, and it can make you feel good, then wouldn't that be wonderful for a little brief moment? We're all feeling good because we're all sharing this piece of art, which, hey, made me feel good, and I don't think I'm different from you, and so it's making you feel good. Now let's go spread it. We're a virus now. We're a virus. Let's go spread this feeling around. And that's been, I think that is the very seed of it. It's kind of like, it's sort of like, come share this feeling with me via communication, via performance, and whatever. And then the spite goes in somewhere in between that. Somewhere in between that, it's like, fuck you, I'm going to share it anyway.
I think life can feel quite empty, and obviously there's this quite like a deep thing, but it's like, it's kind of every day now, you know, life can, it's the Fontaine's DC thing. Life ain't always empty. And I think that's what it does.
That's a good line.
Yeah, it's a really good line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Being able to actually do it, you know, continue do it and set aside the time for it as you become an adult, you got to pay the rent, you got to pay whatever bills you have to pay. So to keep carving out time for music, how do you think you've done that?
I've been lucky. I've been really lucky. So before I used to work as part-time, and then I think I got a lot of jobs within the art when I quit my part-time job. It was actually a very interesting story around this. I was working part-time in a bar, and then I lost my job, and then I went on Job Seekers. And at the time, I had a wife, and she did the work while I was doing Job Seekers. And I did Job Seekers for a year, and obviously the government, after a year, they go, this part-time, this Job Seekers ain't gonna work for you. They move you on to a thing called Prospects, where the goal is every week you collect your job seekers allowance, but they actively force you to find a job, really kind of like grilling. What was my luck was when I went into Prospects, the person who they had assigned to me sat next to a poet I knew who worked there as a job, Tim Wells. So Tim Wells sees me, he goes, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm on Job Seekers, now they've moved me to Prospects. He goes, why? Because you can't find a job. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, but Josh, you're a good poet, you should do workshops. And so that guy was like, can you please take him? Because clearly you...
Had you ever thought about doing workshops
No,
before?
I hadn't. I hadn't considered, but Tim Mills, he put me on game. He really set me down and laid out how I could do it. He showed me who to email. He gave me my first workshop to kind of attend. And that helped me start use my art to earn money, like properly. Before then, it was like gig here while I worked part-time in the bar. But then when I was doing this other job, right, I was earning money. So I was going into schools, I was teaching and blah, blah, blah. Marriage collapses, you know. Marriage collapses. I move out. I'm depressed. I meet who is now who's mother of my child. And I move off to Sweden. And at that point, I was doing arts council funding for like the bigger projects, which was helping. I was doing these projects which were kind of like, 6 months I'm covered, and then another 6 months I'm covered.
Yeah.
And then I'm living in Sweden. And what was great about Sweden was that first I'm in this loving relationship with my partner. I'm getting arts council funding, so I'm able to kind of like pay my dues and pay rent and help with that. And she's working, and we're able to create an environment. And also Sweden is just a lovely place to live, where you have the space, like the physical and mental space to just calm down and really think about what
Not
you
like
want.
London. Oh, it's
Yeah.
probably Britain.
Yeah,
right?
not like
everyone's
Britain.
running around.
Everybody's running around, and the pavements are so tiny, and all the buildings are so small, right? And you don't get to see the stars because of the light pollution. But anyway,
That's the analogy, isn't it?
Yeah. So then I was able. I had that space where I was able to think about, and also for a brief moment, Trump wasn't in power, so we all thought things were going to be better, at least apart from the UK, because you guys had Boris, the Boris years. So I was able to kind of think about like. A world where I didn't have to be glum and depressed and sad. And on top of all of that, the Swedish government gave me funding, right? They saw my body of work. I applied, obviously. They saw my body of work and they went, oh, this is great. Here's some money. You don't have to pay us back. Make some more art, right? And
That's great, isn't it?
I'm here to tell you, money changes things.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, you can be talented. I've been talented for 20 years. Money changed because with that money, right, it was a wad of cash. And with that money, I was able to go, you know what? Let me do what I've always wanted to do. Before then, it was always kind of like, oh, I need to do, R&B. I need to try and rap. I need to do jazz. I need to do something that I think good. No, it's just like, you know what? I like dance music. I like spoken word. At that time, Anthony Schmierek wasn't around for, Get Down Services, for those I love. It was, for me, my only references was maxi jazz and the streets. But I was like, you know what? I've always been talking about how I would love a spoken word album. Let me make it. And I had the cushion that allowed me to put time and effort into that. Like all of 2022 was just me using the money I'd got to release the music that the money I'd got had given me the chance to make. And that created the momentum that brought everybody else on board, right?
It's funny. Is there?
I want to tell you, it was a determination. No, it was money. Give people money.
Is that money time as well? Time to not
Yeah, but because it is
be overstretching.
It's like you don't have to worry about it. Like, it's the success of the project. It wasn't tied to the money I got. It wasn't like, oh, there has to be a return on investments. It was just, first off, you have, here in the UK, what is really good at is you have a sense of community. There are loads of people who are kind of struggling as well as you, and everybody has that, that bonding that comes trauma bonding that comes from that, right? And it's huge, and it's connected to the rest of Europe. So if you succeed here, you succeed everywhere. But you also have a massive amount of competition and a government that actively does not care. You are constantly reminded that people do not care. The opposite of love is indifference, and that is no more apparent than here in the UK, because you are given constant reminders that people don't care. They don't care about your body or your the versatility or the how muscular your art form is and your trade is. Like, it just doesn't exist in that way. Sure, some people have it. And if you're lucky, good for you. But for a lot of people, especially when you're struggling, especially when you're not from like the mainstream, it's a struggle, right? It's a struggle to get recognized, a struggle to get acknowledged, a struggle to get seen, I remember when we couldn't sell 100 tickets in London. Like, we sold out of 100 tickets because the tickets were free, right? Yeah. We put a price tag on it, and 150, that's a stretch. We were selling out on the day, if that. Right, and then you go somewhere else and people are like, wow, look at what you've made. Here's some money. It's life affirming, right? Suddenly you're like, this, it has value, right? All of this stuff has value. And it was incredibly it's incredibly helpful to me, supportive to me, right? That I had the opportunity, which I'd been asking for all my life. Like, here's a chance, and you can fail, and it will be okay.
Right.
We may not give you more money, but here's enough money that you can fail in exactly the way that you've wanted to fail for a long time.
Yeah.
You can be like, here's my project, uncompromised as much as possible, like exactly the way I've designed with all the experience I want, and here's enough money to make it to do it in a way where if it doesn't work out, I can go back and be like, yeah, I did a spoken word dance band. We tried our best.
And you don't ostensibly fail in that, but then also wind up in a massive hole financially.
You're not kind of looking at it going like, oh shit, now I have to pay. Oh, that music is locked away forever.
Yeah.
You're there thinking like, okay, that failed, but I can move on. And I think the irony of it all is that I can almost hear a lot of people in the UK going, oh, where's the money? It's like the money is there. The money is there. And I'll tell you what, Sweden, right, like invests in the art. Now they export art. They export music. Like part of their export is music because they
nurtured it.
Yeah, some part of their brain decided, let's just invest in people. And now they're like, wow, we're actually good at this one thing. Let's export it. Yeah. And I think because the UK is kind of like, it's the center. In a way, it's kind of like the financial and the cultural center of Europe, so they have to be part of it. They kind of get away with doing the bare minimum. But you imagine, like, if
they rely on the Rolling Stones, Beatles, we've got that heritage. We don't need to invest anything now.
And the thing is, like, not only are they going to lose it, but also it's like
they are going to lose it, aren't they?
Yeah, it's also like once you lose that power. Once it goes somewhere else, it becomes incredibly difficult to get it back. Once people decide like we don't have to come to the UK to kind of like tick boxes or get the accreditation or get the cultural relevance, then it's gone, right? And I feel just because they've had that pedigree and they've had all of that that heritage, it feels like they don't need to invest in the current generation. They don't need to kind of like put any money and time. And for me, it's a waste. And you can kind of tell why they're doing it because, in all honesty, like, take for example, in a lot of like urban is, I don't want to use the word urban, in lots of areas that are predominantly black and brown, right? And this is not to cast any shade on drill or just hip hop in general or grime. I know those are all quite UK fronted, and there are people there doing very
many different sounds, right?
Yeah, they're doing incredible stuff. But what I'm saying is that, like, if you are motivated by making money, you're gonna make something that appeals to the mainstream, right? This is the truth. You're gonna make something that appeals to the mainstream, and you're gonna make stuff that is easy to digest. However, I believe, because I am living proof of that if you give people the money and tell them, look, here you go, here's some money, we're gonna be your parents, right, and we're gonna give you money, then you're gonna find a lot more black and brown people doing weird stuff that challenges not just themselves, but the audience. And yeah, lots of it will fail. A lot of it will just go out the window. But then you're going to get the one or two, or you get people who, like David Bowie, fail and then start making it into good. And what's going to happen is that you're going to have stuff that challenges the audience. The audiences gets a lot more educated and a lot more culturally kind of like attuned. And then, they might start searching much more stuff that kind of like fits that new palette, which obviously is going to be, I feel, a lot more culturally attuned, use that word again, which makes them much more intelligent, which means they start challenging the government, and the government don't like that. So they want you to be eating slop and just listening to crap because, just listen to the Beatles over and over again. That's never going to make anyone feel like they... I'm about to go political and I don't want to. But I feel it is an attempt to keep the audience as numb and as dumb as possible. I think not funding the arts, knowing that a well-funded art means a well-educated and what's the word? A much more, at least emotionally articulate audience, right? That makes a culture that is willing to challenge authority. Like if you look at, for example, the United Kingdom march, and it's a whole bunch of men who are angry, But if you give them the means to articulate that anger, right, beyond sort of like fear and hate, which people can do through art, you know, like you have someone who is angry and that anger can easily shift right or left. But if they listen to music that makes them think and makes them see each other, you know, in a different light, in the better, and art can do that. Art can be the thing that tips it from one place to the other. But the government, they know that, and so do they want you emotionally invested? Do they want you to able to articulate and confront your own biases and, you know, question yourself? And again, I'm living proof of that because I listened to Rufus Wainwright, and that's how I was able to kind of like undo a little bit more of the homophobia I grew up with. You know, I listened to the art teacher after, because I used to listen to Divine Comedy, and I read on the culture show that I watched on the culture show on BBC that Rufus Wainwright was Canadian's Divine Comedy, and that was like, okay, I like Divine Comedy, so therefore I'm going to like Rufus Wainwright. So I'm listening to Rufus Wainwright, and I'm loving all his music, all the pop music, and I'm just ignoring the fact that he's, hello, hey, hello. I'm doing an interview, right? Can you go back and watch TV?
But I can't hear.
I'm sorry, right?
I can't hear from here.
I know. I'll keep it down, okay? Oh, all right. Yeah, so I'm listening.
Rufus Wainwright.
I'm listening to Rufus Wainwright, and then I'm kind of just decided, like I normally do with artists who I thought were gay, to not just pay attention to that. And then he does Art Teacher, where he does it from the point of view of him loving a man. So that's how the song is. It's true and true. And at that point, I was like, I love this song, but he's gay. I don't care. But, you know, I had to go on my own journey, and I had art kind of like take me one step.
Hold your hand,
you know,
Be
I
like,
did have empathy, and that could easily have been twisted in the opposite direction. And that's what art can do. And I think for that to happen, you need to have a lot of art that looks like you, sounds familiar to something you have, but it's twisted in just a little bit away. And that means the artist has to take risks. And what helps an artist take risks? Money. Money, right? Money. If you're not there thinking every single has to be the one, otherwise you're fucked, then you do weird stuff.
You mentioned earlier about working at a burlesque bar. What? How was that?
Let me choose.
Was that in London?
Yeah.
I'll let you finish your mouthful.
Working at a burlesque bar. It was called Volupte. Volupte. And it was really funny, right? I applied for the job. At the time, I was working at another place called The Cuban. And the guy at Volupte, he was really lovely. It was a bit weird. He kept cracking jokes about little corners where people can have sex. I was like, why are you? Why? So I was like, you know, okay. And then when I went to the Cuban, they were like, we heard you're looking for another job. I was like, yeah, I need weekends. They were like, well, we can give you more shifts, but you have to be committed. You have to be committed. We don't want you working anywhere else. So I called up Volupte and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't work here. Thank you very much. This guy, bear in mind, Eastern European guy. So you can imagine the accent. And he comes back and he goes, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know you didn't want to earn £8 an hour. Ding, ding, ding. This was way back in 2008.
Yeah, but even then.
£8 an hour. Like a shot, fam. So I go over and this lady, it turns out like he was like the bar manager, and there's a woman who was the club manager. And I spoke to her, she was really nice. She was like, oh, are you an artist? Are you da-da-da? And I'm like, yeah, I do poetry. She was like, hey, do you want to run the night? I was like, what?
Yeah.
All right. She was like, yeah, we got Tuesdays. If you ever want to run something, come in.
Yeah.
And so, I was like, okay, cool. I'll think about it. And I'm working there, and I was working upstairs. And it was like one of those places where people dressed up like they're from the 60s or the 20s and the 30s, kind of like, you know, very kind of like trilbies and the whole swing party kind of thing. And then one day, she was like, the service bar downstairs, I think the bartender had fallen ill and had to go home. Can I cover? And she was like, have you worked a service bar? I'm like, yeah, of course. I mean, service bar is just where kind of like, instead of the main bar where people order drinks, the service bar, you just get receipts.
Okay.
Because you're essentially making
You're not making cocktails.
Everything. You're making everything.
Oh,
But
you are?
You're downstairs in a little corner.
Yeah.
And all you're not serving anyone directly. You're just getting receipts and you're making it to give to the waiters.
Yeah.
Hence, service bar is just to kind of like produce
Right.
up. So I'm there, and it's the first time I'm downstairs. I'm walking. It's a chill night. It's not that big. I'm just making cocktail scene, and then this lady comes up, and then she starts dancing, and suddenly nipple tattoos come out, and I'm like, oh my god, oh, it's a stripper. I'm looking at it, and my manager runs up to me. She goes, it's not a stripper. Stop calling that. I'm like, she's taking off her clothes. I'm like, she's taking off her clothes. It's a strip. She's like, it's burlesque bar. I'm like, but what? But what? Good for you. It's a strip.
Yeah.
So then she took me downstairs to the office. She goes, you can't say it's a stripper. We already get it from the customers. We can't get it from the staff. And she educated me into what burlesque was.
Yeah.
And
it's a whole culture and definitely separate to the strip bar. It's an art form, right?
It is an art form because I got to see a lot of burlesque. I got to see a lot of burlesque dancers who they turn titillation into humor, into horror on the drop of a hat, and I think it's kind of like, it's the same way. Even though you say stand-up poetry, it doesn't make it comedy. You can have a poet who's funny, but then that poet, because he's a poet and not a comedian, he has the range to flip the script on you and say start out funny and then go immediately dark or immediately tender, which some of the best comedians do. But with the comedy, you are there to laugh. With stripping, you are there to be titillated. Male gaze, all good. Whereas with burlesque, you have drama, you have narrative, you have comedy, you have short technical brilliance, you have you have titillation, and sometimes you have titillation for titillation's sake. Sometimes you have titillation involving power dynamics, like explicitly involving power dynamics. One of the best burlesque that I had ever seen was this woman, and black woman. She comes in with this kind of like really, really strong, like resting B face, right? And she's doing like this 60s song where it's like there's nothing more better, there's nothing more powerful, nothing better than your smile. And with everything, she's got this frown on her. She's taking off bits of clothing, and she's talking about the smile. And then eventually, just as she's about to kind of like reveal the nipple tassel, instead she smiles. She's been wearing buck teeth the whole time. The audience pisses themselves.
What kind of teeth?
Buck teeth. Buck teeth, just
what
cute.
Are they?
They're like kind of like donkey teeth.
Okay, I don't know.
So she's holding the smile in, and everyone thinks, okay, cool. She's just giving it a look, and then you think she's going to reveal her breasts, and then she just goes. And then the teeth come out, and everybody pisses themselves laughing. And then there was another one where this woman was busting balloons. So with every balloon, she took off a piece of clothing, and all that was left was, what's it called, her hat, and her bra, and her pants, and one more balloon. And she busts it, and she points out all of the things. And everyone's like, breast, blah, blah. And she busts it, and she takes off her hat. She has no hair. The hair comes off with the hat. Everyone loses. And when you get stuff like that, you kind of see how versatile it was. But yeah, that's
an education.
It was an education, and I got to meet a lot of people. I got to meet. I had some really good times. I think it was my last really, really good bar job.
Yeah.
Like I made.
Were you doing a lot of bar jobs before then?
Oh yeah. I'd worked in a place called Strawberry Moons, which was a show bar. Imagine. If do you know Coyote Ugly, the film?
Yeah.
Imagine that film, but it was set in Essex.
That sounds brilliant.
That's it. That really is it.
You meet a lot of characters in these places.
Yeah,
don't you?
I mean, it was
because these are kind of places where people can kind of let their metaphorical hair off.
Yeah,
hair down. Just like enjoy themselves and have fun. And like that's quite a special place. I don't know.
Yeah, and also it was in the midst, in the very, very tightened grip of Britain's lad phase.
Yeah.
Here she comes. Yes, Bread Song.
When it was,
hey.
Hello, Bretta.
How you doing? Right.
Hello. So it's in the middle of that lad phase.
It was the middle of the lad.
It's quite refreshing.
Yeah, it was the middle of the lad phase. And this was a period when, you had the lads and the ladettes and Loaded Magazine and GQ and everything was all whoa. And that really translated into how people interacted with each other in a bar where you drank loads of alcohol and you expected to kind of behave in a certain way, and you had a certain level of irony and cynicism to it, and everything was permissible because it was all just banter in the end. Girls could drink as much as guys, give me the alcohol pops and blah blah blah. And I was there, I was on the outside looking in. I was the bartender. Sure, I participated and I made the drinks, I chatted with the audience and all of that, but I was still that I was still an observer, right? Because I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs at the time, and I loved to dance, but that was about it. And so I in those spaces, in those formative years, I did a lot of watching people and seeing how things took place, and I think that kind of really informed my storytelling process.
Totally. I think one of my biggest fears growing up was, or sort of from 18 and working different jobs, one of my biggest fears was to just sort of live a life that I would consider boring, and not to be rude or anything, but sometimes you're in places where I'm not excited by people. And so to be in a place where people are exciting, and like you say, you observe them, you feel like you're learning something.
Oh yeah.
That's really, that's kind of filling, that's life filling.
I think at the time I didn't realize what kind of a life that I was. It's kind of like when I was younger, I lived in Nigeria. I was born here, but we went to Nigeria afterwards.
Yeah.
And we had begged my mom for a Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
And I don't know what possessed her, but she got one for me.
Yeah.
And my mom, being the kind of person who will obviously buy things based on brand recognition. My dad owned a video store, so we watched a lot of movies, and my dad had lots of films. And my mom was like, I don't know what these kids like. Let me get them something that I recognize. What did she recognize? James Bond 007, GoldenEye.
Yeah. Legendary.
Yeah, but we had not heard about GoldenEye at the time.
Okay.
So we were completely blown away by how good GoldenEye was. But because we lived in Nigeria, we thought, okay, well, if GoldenEye is this good, the game we really wanted, Turok Dinosaur Hunter, must be amazing. Right. It's going to be so good because we didn't really want this, and this turned out to be good. So therefore, Turok that we really wanted. And then it turns out when we found a video game magazine, because we got the magazines late, GoldenEye was the best game on Nintendo 64. And I say this to say, I, working in the bar, right, learned to love it. And at the back of my head, I thought, well, this life must be good, but the life I really want to live, like performance or whatever, that's going to be amazing. And now looking back, I was like, wow, I really did live the best life. Yeah. That really, especially Strawberry Moons, because, we made so much money on tips. There was a very loose approach towards kind of bartending in general. Measuring shots was more suggestion than accurate representation. And yeah, because it was that club, as a young boy, I was suddenly put in front of a lot of women, right, who either A, found me attractive, or B, were desperate, or C, were both. Right? And yeah, that I think I discovered not only kind of lust and heartbreak very, very, very quickly. I was thrown in the deep end in that way. And yeah, but also at the same time, I had in that space a lot of friends who put me on right. Because, you can imagine there was lots of sexism in there. There was lots of homophobia, a lot of racism as well. And I remember at the time, I would often I would use phrases that I had learned from Eminem or whatever. And I had people just call me up and be like, that's not cool, right? In the midst of all of that, in the midst of people shagging in toilets and, your manager long story, my manager gave me a bag full of white substance that, we're not supposed to talk about. Yeah. And I thought it was salt. So I used it to make a margarita, as you do. Anyway, long story. I have made the most expensive glass of margarita ever. Ever, right? And in the midst of that, there was a lot of people who gave me great advice, took me under the wing. I remember I randomly wrote a piece of poetry, and her name is Devon Ashton, and she read it and she came back to me and she said, "Yeah, you're right. because my spelling is shit, right? Like sometimes I can't see the words. And she goes, yeah, you need help with your spelling, but the poem is amazing. You should do something with that. And that is, that gave me the confidence.
It's interesting. It's funny how just a one line or one compliment can fill you up just as much as a negative response. Can make you stubborn.
Absolutely. I don't know if you. I've been talking a lot about like when I went to Hackney Community College, not too far from here. I had 2 English teachers, and one English teacher saw a poem I wrote, and she was like, "You need to record this. You need to send this out." At the time, I didn't know what she was talking about, and I didn't even know you could make money out of poetry, right? So I just thought she was wasting my time. I wanted to write scripts, right? And she kept pushing me. She kept telling me I'm good, and she gave me so much confidence that I went to the other teacher, white dude. I don't remember his name. And I said to him, do you think there's something in this? And he said to me, yes, but I don't think you have the skill to pull it off.
Wow. Yeah.
Spite. Spite.
Confidence, spite.
Spite. You know,
both very powerful.
That was the combination. One person telling you can do it, another person telling you, I don't think you can do it. Right? And I'm like, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Joshua, thanks so much. Appreciate it. And your debut record is coming out in March, which feels like long time from now, long time in the future.
I mean, you see,
but it'll come up quickly.
No,
won't it?
I mean, dude, I'm going on tour in about 2 weeks with Baxter Jury. Support. That's going to be 5 weeks, December, January, and then that's campaign time. So yeah, like when you see the thing about music and gigging is that suddenly the year gets really small because it's all kind of like, oh, that's summer. Oh, really? Oh, that's autumn. Oh, now it's spring. It's like you start seeing the years as units. And
I love the title. Everyone is hurting. No, you are hurting. Let me get this right. You are hurting. Everyone is hurting. Everyone is trying. You have to try, which in itself is a lovely line, lovely couple of lines.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's from a poem on the album called Brother. Okay. Yeah, and I think we as you can imagine, when we finished the album, we were all struggling to kind of like give it a title, and we're like, Joshua Idehen, no, that's a bit lame. Right. All you can do is hum. No, that sounds too much like all you can do is try. Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, what about I know you're hurting everybody, and you're like, you know what? And this is what happens to us a lot. We go, that's good. Let's put it there until something better comes along, and it never did. And it never did.
I think it's a brilliant name.
Thank you.
Just to end with, you know, I know we were talking about working at the burlesque bar and working at different bars, and that pretty incredible story about thinking salt was something else, or thinking something else was salt. I mean, I'm a big fan of the work fuck-ups, the work gaffes. I mean, that's a pretty good one. Have you got any others that kind of match that level of gaffness, infamy?
Infamy, oh God, yeah.
Hello, Bretta.
Bretta, what are you doing? Bretta, go
She's
sit down.
got an answer for this.
Go sit down. I mean, she's decided. I'm going to look. Okay.
I'm leaving now.
Yeah. One of my favorites is, so I'm working in Strawberry Months, working on this separate bar, and we have cordoned off an area for a VIP bar, right? And what's it called? The code word is Charlie's Angels.
Yeah. Code word for what?
When the people come, they're gonna say we're Charlie's Angels, right?
Yes, and that's to let them in.
Yeah. So I'm waiting. These hen night coming, all wearing wings, right? I'm like, Charlie's Angels. They're like, yay! They going in, right? And it's meant to be. It's on tap. Free drinks all night. Bang, bang, bang. Free drinks all night. Blah, 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 blah. And then I see this man come over and he goes, yeah, the crew from Charlie's Angels are here. And I'm like, what? And he goes, Charlie's Angels, the crew, you know, is the after party. They're meant to be here. You were meant to have a VIP. And I turn to this lady, and she's there chugging the champagne
on the Magnum
from the bottle, like she got somewhere to be.
Yeah,
like the devil chasing her.
She knows what she's doing.
And I'm like, I imagine he's like, so why didn't you ask them why didn't you ask them for the code word? And I was like, I didn't ask them. I saw the wings and I thought.
Cheers for watching. This is 101 Part-Time Jobs. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and all podcast apps. We've done interviews with Aurora, Kneecap, Idols, Lauren Maybury of Churches, and loads more. So tap into 101 Part-Time Jobs on Spotify, Apple, and all podcast apps. Welcome along to 101 Part-Time Jobs. Every single one of our episodes is available ad-free at our Patreon, patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. I know that there are all these messages trying to sell you things that you may or may not want. So for £4 a month, that's around $5.50 US. You can get over 450 of our episodes and every single one in the future, featuring all the brilliant guests that we have week in, week out, completely ad-free. You can head to patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs, get all your episodes bother free, and you support us directly. Cheers.